Hello, welcome back to the Brew Corner. Today I'm making another small batch of beer for the second experiment with my wild yeast. So I was able to save quite a lot of wild yeast from that first batch I made, and it's been in the fridge where I've stored it, and I'm going to make another small batch now. Again, I'm going to be using my two demijohns here, plastic demijohns, about 4.5 litres in each one of them. But this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to ferment one out here in the garage where it's cool. It's about, well, daily temperature now is about 13 degrees. Now last time it did fantastic at that temperature and it was really clean tasting, so I know it ferments in cool temperatures. But wild yeast is famous for giving all these lovely fruity esters. So what I'm going to do with the second batch, 4.5 litres, is ferment that indoors. And right now we have the temperature set around 21-22 degrees. Pretty constant throughout the day and the night because it's getting really chilly now in the UK. In fact, we've got snow predicted in the next 2 or 3 weeks, so yeah, it's going to get quite chilly. So we've got the temperature around about 21-22 degrees in the house, and that's where this is going to ferment. And I'm just going to see if those warmer temperatures create some nice fruity esters. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make one big batch of beer, 10 litres, which I'll then divide between these two demijohns, and I'm going to use 500 grams of a medium, Munton's medium malt. It's like an amber malt, which will give some colour and a little bit of that caramelly toffee flavour, and 1 kilogram of light malt, so that's like your base malt, and this is replacing specialty malts. So it's just dry extract. I'm not using any grains in this at all. It's just a very quick, simple beer to test if this yeast well, gives me any sort of nice fruity wild yeast flavours. So I'm going to get set up and then we'll get started. Okay, I've got things set up a little bit different today. I've got the brew kettle in front of me. I thought it'd probably make for a better viewing experience than seeing me sideways on, not looking at the camera. So first thing we've got to do is to bring the water up to a boil. I'm going to be using spring water. I'm going to use 11 litres in total. I've got two 5-litre bottles, and then I'll just add another litre to that. I'm assuming it's going to be a half-hour boil, and I'm assuming that I'll lose a litre during that time. It'll just boil away. So we're going to get started. Let me just transfer the water. These 5-litre bottles are good because you also end up with a demijohn. So you can recycle the bottles. Let me just put all this in. Wow. Well, you don't need to watch this. I'll bring it up to the boil and I'll come back to you. Okay, welcome back. I'm now at about 95 degrees, so it's almost boiling, and this is where I'm going to add my malt. So basically I like adding it just before it gets to a boil. The problem with dry malt is that it clumps up and it forms these concrete balls, but if it's just off boiling point, then it doesn't seem to clump up as much. And they're real buggers, those concrete balls. You've got to sort of like smash them against the edge of the kettle to oh, come on, the bag in as well, get it all out. You've got to sort of smash them against the edge of the kettle just to break them up. But this should be okay because it's gone down in temperature now, so it's probably about 90 degrees. So that's all the pale malt in. Give that a good stir. And now I'm going to put in the amber. Let me just put that down on the floor. And this is to replace the specialty malt. So the pale malt is the base malt, the light malt, and then this medium amber malt is to replace the specialty malt. And as I'm going to be boiling this, I can actually just put the bag in and rinse it out. There we go. That's it all in. What is it? It's a bugger because the steam the steam makes it clump up inside the bag. There we go. That's it, done. Right, so that's 1.5 kilograms of malt. Of course, the amber malt is also fermentable, so it's not exactly like a specialty malt. Specialty malts aren't fermentable, but this one is, so it's going to take its place but also add some extra fermentable sugar. I'm just now keeping the head clear, keeping the top of the water clear of any foam in case this thing foams up. Usually you're okay with dry malt extract. I find it doesn't clump up anywhere near like if you're doing an all grain. Okay, I'm just going to wait now. It's only about 5 minutes and this will be a rolling boil, and then I'll add my hops. The hops I'm actually using are East Kent Goldings. I've got 30 grams for the half hour I'm going to be boiling for, and I've got another 30 grams when I take it off the heat. So there's no flavour hops in this, it's just going to be the bittering hops, and I'm looking at about 27 IBUs. My calculations say 30 grams, 6% alpha acid East Kent Goldings will give me about a high 20s IBU, and then no flavour, but then I'll just put the aroma hops in and then let them steep. Okay, I'll be back when this gets to boil. And we're at boiling point, so I'm just going to put in the first bag of hops. Give it a stir around, get them all soaked in, make sure it doesn't froth up. Even though you may have had your what's called the hop break and the foam has sort of cleared, as soon as you put something in like hops, it froths up again. In fact, it's getting quite close. So I'm just going to turn the heat off. It's going all the way down. Turn the heat back on again. And it should be okay now. Yep, that's fine. Yeah, as soon as you add things like hops, it all froths up again, so you've just got to be careful of that. That looks like it's done. So I will come back in half an hour. Well, half an hour is finished, so I'm going to my glasses are steaming up. I'm going to turn off the power and I'm going to throw in the other bag of hops. These are for the aroma. 30 grams of East Kent Golding, same as for bittering, and stir them in. It's still boiling hot, so I don't really need to sanitize the spoon, and I'm only just making sure that those new hops are nicely moistened. There we go. Okay, that's it. Brew day is finished. What I'm going to do is just put a lid on this to keep it as warm as I possibly can. And they're going to sit, those hops are going to sit in there for 15 minutes, adding their aroma oils. And what I'm going to do then is transfer this into a small fermenting bucket. Now, why am I not transferring it into the demijohns? Because this is where it's actually going to ferment. I don't think the plastic is strong enough to cope with the heat, because even after 15 minutes this is still going to be 90 degrees, and I don't think the plastic will cope with that high temperature. So I'm going to first of all transfer this after 15 minutes into a small fermenter bucket, and then let that come down to room temperature. And then when it comes down to room temperature, I'll come back to you. Oh, that's nice. Oh, well, it's taking a bit longer than I thought to cool down. So it looks like it's going to be tomorrow, Sunday, when I can pitch the yeast. What I'm going to actually do with this is, once it's cooled down to room temperature, take a hydrometer reading. I expect it's going to be in the 1040 region. And then I'll pitch the yeast, the wild yeast. I'll decant the beer that's on top and pitch it into this bucket and give it a bit of a mix. And that means I'll get an even distribution of yeast throughout the wort. And then I'll siphon this into the 2 demijohns. And then yeah, it's just a waiting game then. I'll keep one out here, which will ferment at cool temperatures. I'll ferment one indoors at warm temperatures. And after 2 weeks I'll bottle, and 2 weeks later we'll see if there's a difference. So that's what I'm going to do. I hope to have shown it you on camera, but yeah, I thought 10 litres would have cooled quicker, but it's still really hot to the touch. So unfortunately, to get this video out on time, we can't do it on camera, but that's what I'm going to do. Very simple job. Right, well, I hope you enjoyed watching. I'm just enjoying a nice Shepherd Neame. It's meant to be the oldest brewery in the UK. A Shepherd Neame 1698 beer. Really nice, classic sort of English ale. And I hope you have a nice day. Hope you've had a nice weekend, and I'll see you again on Thursday. But we're going to have to wait a month before we find out what this experiment has produced. But it'll be worth the wait. Okay, thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you again in the next video. Bye bye for now.